to the extent it was 2000. And my colleague was telling me, actually whispering to me, you have got the international brochure. I got the national one. By the time clerk came back after 2 minutes, we all tried to summarize, memorize. That time in 2000, I didn't have a mobile with a camera. So that was one of the problems. But one of my students had. We told her, take a picture, take a picture. So we got 2 pictures, at least one from the international and from the national. Now you can imagine what I'm implying to. Internationally, sex tourism is offered. Nationally, no. So this is, a direct confrontation with this gendered cyberspace. And the first incident was American head of an Indian internet firm caught up in a scandal, was released on bail as police interrogated the private school student who filmed the lewd clip with a cell phone camera. A Delhi High Court judgment ordered the release of Avinash Bajaj, the head of eBayBazi.com, who faced charges that he allowed the sale of pornographic material on the website. This is from Los Angeles Times, 2004. So according to Alexa ranks or Google Trends, Indians are either sex-starved or addicted netizens in the world. They are spending more time on porn sites. In India, Alexa ranking, #1 adult blog was that time. Debonair blog is in the 14th place of the world. On May 18, 2016, Indian Minister for Women and Child Development, Maneka Gandhi, stated that the online abuse and trolling of women in India should be treated the same way as a violence in the real world. And on this one, Maneka Gandhi was 100% right. Actually, online reflects, virtual reflects the actual reality of the world, which we often forget, thinks it can be done virtually. So the next day, Home Ministry announced that they plan to launch a portal named Cybercrime Prevention Against Women and Children, CCPWC. So that was the time it was launched. It was not launched before that. So due to the public nature of online abuse, the reactions of friends, colleagues, and the media can exacerbate the trauma. For a long time, and on the top of it, National Crime Records Bureau of India did not maintain any separate record of cyber crimes against women and children. So up to 2017, nothing was done to keep a separate record. Indian National Crime Records Bureau is otherwise not bad because they themselves tell that we can only get 25 to 30% of crimes against women. The rest is in the world, in Indian space, we cannot touch. Now, while actually virtual space has helped India in that one tremendously. Now, I don't have time to go to the detail, but I'll just say these are the 4 basic one we see in the Indian internet. Cyber stalking, I'm sure everybody knows that. You stalk someone for online harassment, and you keep on doing that, and does not engage in a direct online activity to gather information, but make threats in different forms of verbal intimidation. The anonymity of online interaction reduces the chance of identification, makes it very, very difficult to catch. And often fake sites. See, nowadays having a fake site among the young, please don't take it otherwise, is a actually point of status. How many fake sites you are maintaining? Oh, I have 4, I have 6. So that's an important one in the life of young people. Cyber pornography is the other threat to female netizens. Cyber defamation. Cyber defamation includes both libel and slander. It involves publishing a defamatory information on the person on a website or circulating it among the victim's friends, circle, or organization. And our law is very weak on these ones. And morphing, online sexual abuse, distribution of sexually explicit and violent content, sexual harassment. So National Crime Records Bureau now reports in 2018, because first time it is done in 2017, that the crime against women has raised from 4,242 in 2017 to 6,030 in 2018. And this is the rest part, is the cyber part. So in January 2020, look at the situation. People wrote in 1995, 1998, and India was sleeping, becoming the second largest internet user base India now have. 600 million almost, but we have 150 crores roughly. So that's still nothing. We can still sleep probably a while. There has also been a surge in these incidents during the coronavirus-induced lockdown. The National Commission for Women received 100 cyber crime complaints in June alone, up 50% from April and 37% from March. On the other hand, rapid digitalization also means increased exposure to cyber threat. India's first women cybercrime investigator emphasized that regardless of the number of followers, online abuse impacts actually affects everybody in the same way. But women are reluctant to take legal course due to long winding process and unwelcome attitude of the law and enforcement in this matter. One advocate on cyber law said that India does not have a specific statute addressing cyberbullying. Victims can take only legal resource through provision in the Indian Penal Code and Information Technology Act, because India still doesn't have that. So experts are actually negative on India, saying that it is security as a service platform is not served. It becomes a service provider helping the consumer, the customer only, who pays for pornography and sexual content. So bravo, there is no doubt about it. There is no democracy in India, at least in India, as far as cyber space is concerned. Gender equality, as you can see, the highest. In terms of the fact that you can harass a woman online in whatever way you want, and you can spread it, and the woman feels shy because why was she or herself allowed to be pictured by some boyfriend or etc. So without investigation, perpetrators were not arrested. People had to reach out and complain. See, here is the interesting point. I don't know whether law faculty is there. That law doesn't work in India until and unless you ferociously complain. If you lodge a case, that case could take you to your death or your daughter's death. The case would be solved. So as a whole, Indian legal machinery is the worst in the world in terms of giving justice. And gender justice, zero. So one analyst wrote that within 3 days of filing an FIR, the culprit was arrested because he was doing cyber breaking in July. But the moment there was a demonstration by the women's organization, I don't want to tell the name of the state. You read it if you want it. And that was done. So that means women's organizations have to protest positively that this is wrong. So after this, we can say Uttar Pradesh, Haryana. We can say that it has been in the tech city of India, Karnataka, who has one of the highest record and defraud records. So India's tech set, Karnataka, followed suit that year. A majority of these cases was registered under the IT Act to defraud or sexually exploit crime. This is 2021 data. What I'm trying to tell is this: in 21st century, we have the hula bula of the group, digitalization. We have the hula bula of the digital space, cyberspace, digital education specifically. But for the record, only 25% of Indian population in terms of students are actually connected, not more than that. So term cyber violence refer to using various digital devices, including the whole phone, to insult, harass, humiliate, discriminate, rumors, ostracize, or otherwise coerce an individual who cannot defend him or her, or that is otherwise dominated. 5 more minutes. Acha, 2 more minutes. See, if this would have worked, the technology, I would have needed a little less time. So I'm blaming this one. So original face-to-face traditional bullying is like a heaven now, because you know the perpetrator. But the platforms you use as part of your daily life, Facebook, Twitter, snapshots, are actually danger zone that if you expose yourself, then you met the fate the St. Xavier's professor met. She kept personally, that means locked, a picture of her with swimsuits. And she lost her job because one of the students could hack it. Don't forget, side by side, hackers are there. So if this is freedom, then I don't know what is bondage. So in a sense, it is worthwhile to remember when we talk of the contributions of the digital space and always think that it is the digital who will end it. I think we need to think twice or thrice, because Democracy Watchdog, Freedom House's hyperlinker project, who seeks to amplify the voices of the marginalized communities in the global digital rights discussion, surveyed 500 Indian internet users. I'll just give very briefly the result. 97% identified themselves as women, suffered from all kind of digital devices used by men as representative of patriarchy and harass them. And 48% were professional out of that. There's a huge upper middle class, upper educated professional who are actually going through as cyber criminal. They are never known. They can have a safe gendered cyber space using to their advantage within the closed doors of their rooms. Now, I'll just finish with this one. The first case, which was cyber stalking in India, is Ritu Kohli. Please read the case. You will find that this is really amazing how Ritu Kohli was harassed. And another situation is that whenever women are stalked, trolled, they are blamed by their parents. So that's why they are not telling that they are trolled or stalked. Because you know what? In reality, they will not be getting friends, husbands, etc. So now, with an international market worth $97 billion business for the cyberspace gendering is the first business which is associated with most of the main platforms we use, namely Microsoft. I raised my case, and if there is a question, then I can say a little more, like sextortions, etc. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I had the pleasure of being at a session with you 19 years ago. I guess it was in Jadavpur University. It was on globalization. And I must tell you with all honesty, you've grown younger since then. With the same energy and with a lot more, academic work. Of course not. I mean, I teach at Surendranath College for Women, and I had your schoolmate Lilidhi as my colleague for a number of years, so I better not. All these young scholars are waiting to make their presentation, so I thank our very own Professor Dr. Bula Bhadra for her presentation, and we go on to the research scholars from now on. There are a lot of things that ma'am has suggested here, and it should set a lot of questions among you. So I'm sure that we'll have these conversations as we go along. Students sitting at the last, are you here or you're elsewhere into your mobile phones or whatever? So there is a theorist by the name of Bruno Latour, and he introduced the actor network theory. And he talks of technology as an actor itself. It is not a furniture outside that kind of, we can see as an appendage, but it actually changes the way we converse, the way we do these things. And one of the things that I hate about technology is PowerPoint presentation. So thank you, ma'am, for all the power in the presentation without the PowerPoint, because it is such a distraction. And for the people who are just going to come over here, if your PowerPoint presentation is any less than 30 font size, please don't present it here. So let it make it conversational, because if there is too much text, nobody's going to read that. Make it as conversational as possible. Make it as relevant for these young audience here. They're already digging their heads into mobile phones, so let them participate in these discussions, because digital is here to stay. I mean, how many?
That is why let me interject. Since digital is here to say, make digital safe, and there should be a movement to make digital safe for women. If digital is staying.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So out of almost 800 crore people, about 534 crore across the world, they are on mobile phones. That means that 1 out of 3 is still, they don't even have access to mobile phones. So still there's a long way to go. But, as of now, it exists in its form. It has changed the way we communicate. It has changed the way we live our lives. We live our lives mostly through mobile phones. And not just that, artificial intelligence is going to change the way we do a lot of these things. Are you listening, everybody? Can I hear a yes or no? Yes? Everybody, yes or no? Please, last bench, if you don't say yes or no, I'm going to ask you questions. So, yes or no? Thank you. I have 3 fabulous presenters, and I'll do some favoritism. I'll call my student, Shumeda Chaudhary, first for her presentation, and she'll be talking on a study on representation of journalism in web series of 2022 in context to East Asia and South Asia. So journalism in web series. So there has been a lot of talk about web series and OTT. So it's just one major change from how we used to consume content. Earlier, content was through broadcast cables. Now, content is through internet protocol. And that has empowered us like never before. So the choice is with us, that where do we watch it, when do we watch it, at what speed do we watch it, and what we make of it. It has empowered the content producer as well. It has given them the metrics from which to decide what works and what does not work. So we had a lot of conversations here. Make it as short as possible, Sumedha. The shorter the better, because we are running out of time. And let's have a lot more interactions. Let's have questions on these presentations. So just don't have to read the presentations, just have it conversational or whatever. Yes, of course. I'm not trying to, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, panelists. Good afternoon, students. I believe students might not get bored through my PPT. I'm Sumedha Chaudhary. I'm a research scholar in English department of Ranchi University. It's an interdisciplinary PhD, since I'm basically a mass commer. My MPhil was still mass comm. And I'm an assistant professor in Amity University, Jharkhand. I've been a student of USP, sir, while pursuing my PGD in Calcutta University. So it's an honor that he's the moderator here. Well, coming to my PPT, it will just take me 6 or 7 minutes with my PPT. My topic is a study on representation of journalism in web series. Now, the reason I chose journalism because these days the youngsters are into K-drama. A lot of K-drama is happening and people carry on with the series. So I thought, I was just going, I came across 2521. It is my first K-drama or the Korean series I started watching, and suddenly I saw there was journalism. It actually, I was curious how journalism is there in the Korean series. Then, so I took in context to East Asia and South Asia. Now, when we speak about South Asia, it is obviously India, and when we speak about East Asia, it is South Korea. So I found 25 and 21, and it had a bit of romance also. It started with romance, and then it ended with journalism. This is what the series is all about. Then the other series, the Indian series, which I took for this South Asia, it is Broken News. You must have heard about it. It is on Z5. 2521 is on Netflix. Now, Broken News is all about the dark side of broadcast journalism and to what extent journalists go, like they are under the pressure of management. They show what they want, what the management wants, what the bureaucrats want, not what the public wants. It's not agenda setting theory is totally applicable when it comes to Broken News. While when I was watching 2521, there what I noticed, I'll not discuss. Can anyone please help me? just come to the pictures. I'll not, first I'll not discuss with the objectives and all. Yeah. It started with here, like when I was watching 25-21, it is about a youngster who wanted to be a NASA scientist, but he ended to being a news anchor. First a trainee, then a sports journalist, then a crime journalist, and then an anchor. Now he is totally unemployed. His father went bankrupt. You must be knowing about the monetary issues which South Korea dealt once. So it was about it is about that time when his father went bankrupt and he was jobless. He was looking for part-time jobs, though his aim was to become NASA scientist. He was a college dropout and so on. Then he became a trainee journalist. He qualified the examination. Korea, they have an entrance. It is not like India that you pursue a course and then you can become a journalist. They have an entrance exam like UPSC there. That is what I watched. That is what I came to know through this web series. So this is a trainee journalist live, and he is giving he is giving the live from one of his senior's residence, and that senior's daughter is his girlfriend. So that is what the series comes on. Like he started covering sports because his girlfriend is an international fencer. So he tried to convince his boss, and his boss was like, "What is there in fencing? Why not some other sports?" So in some way, a journalist is trying to promote a sports just because his girlfriend is there. He's not trying to promote just because he has that personal inclination towards like he wants to be a sports person. So that also was there. But what I observed was broken news about what management says. But 25-21 was what the reporter wants and how he's convincing the management that I'll be covering this. This is how he becomes a sports journalist, and he's quite known for that. Then he goes to the US. He becomes a foreign correspondent. He covers this September 11/9 incident in New York. He represents his organization. This is for the first time his channel UBS is represented at the US level. And lastly, he is recommended by his girlfriend's mom, who is about to retire from the news anchor position, senior most news anchor position. She recommends him for the next phase of UBS. So that is his future. This is what I observed, that in Korea, they study journalism bit by bit. Like every struggle of the journalist is shown, and very positively. Like his girlfriend is motivating him, he is motivating his girlfriend. So I was like observing that how a series can be in 16 episodes. I didn't feel that I am watching something like fictitious. Like it was not fiction, it was totally non-fiction. Now, coming to the next one, can you please? The next one. This is the girlfriend's mom. Yes. The next picture. Let move to the picture. Yeah. This is about broken news. Broken news is about a tough competition between two private news channels. For example, if we take Z News and Star News, like they have just presumed there's a Josh and some other channel, Awaz Bharti. Yes, Awaz Bharti and Josh, they are competitors, and how they add the masala and all to win each other. Even if a journalist loses life, they give it a damn. They are not cared. They don't care. But there, they are very concerned. In Korea, they are very concerned about the journalist, that you are not going to cover anything which is affecting your health or whatever. It is putting your job at risk. But here, this journalist, it is about this Dipankar Sanyal. He is one a well-known news anchor of a channel. Sonali Bendre, who plays the role of Azima, her name is Azima, and this is Radha. She is an investigative journalist, but then again, because she was too much investigative, she was asked to cover the off-screen part, not the on-screen. She lost that face value, and at the end, it was like she is the face value of the channel, but then the police arrests her. So Dipankar Sanyal makes sure that she is not sustaining the job, because she's an investigative journalist, and she lost her friend who was an investigative journalist. So here again, it is like you cannot have a personal inclination. If you want to save your friend and if you want justice for your friend, that is not allowed. Radha covers, all must be knowing, Jharkhand is known about like for the issues which have come up due to uranium mining and all. So Radha covers that, but Dipankar Sanyal doesn't allow her to show it in her channel. She is an employee of this channel, Avaz Bharti. Avaz Bharti is like, they is into true journalism, but the management says we are incurring loss because of true journalism, we won't allow it to broadcast. But it was opposite in 25-21. That means Korea still maintains the decorum of true journalism. That is what I observed. Now, just 2 more minutes. Can you please move to the research problems? Research problems, earlier ones. Go back. Back. Yeah. So, how are the journalism-based similarities and differences portrayed in 25-21 and Broken News web series, which I already told, and which among the two web series also adds the humorous angle? Now, when we speak about the similarities and differences, I already told you the news, the news aspect. Another thing which I observed, that the Korean series didn't have any kind of vulgarity. So that means the journalists, you can say, the dignity or needs are not exposed. He did had a healthy relation with his girlfriend, but it was not exposed. But in Broken News, it was like the news anchor is sleeping with an escort, and it is shown. Why? Why are they showing only the dark side of journalism? Is it really required? So that is what I observed, and it was actually one of the research problems. Then, when we come to the humorous part, dark side didn't have anything to laugh, smile. The journalist or the employees who were working, the editorial team was always under pressure. But there in 25-21, at the end of the day, they would share they would share a glass of drink or whatever with the boss and with their colleagues. It used to be like, chill, we've had a hard day. So that means Koreans, they enjoy journalism, and in India they are always into agenda setting theory. So, and secondly, this Broken News was only for a difference which I found, and based on that, which I've already discussed, I tried to compare it, and the journalism aspect was intentionally taken, since my PhD is on narrative journalism, and I couldn't find any research paper. Which is discussing about only about journalism in the web series or in the OTT platform. That is what I observed. Thank you.
Deserves another round of applause. She's traveled all the way, and the way she's presented it. Thank you for this brilliant presentation, Shumedha, because it was very conversational. You were not reading from the slides, and you were actually making a point. So brilliant. Very nice to see you in this avatar. Very good. And of course, all the things we spoke about, the audience being empowered and the content producers being empowered. And that's why we get these nuanced characterizations in these web series. Otherwise, we would have those cardboard characters like, the journalist in the Shahenshah film, for example, either he's always very honest and always gets beaten around, and the kind of the things that he does. So that's really wonderful. Now, one of the things with Instagram, many of you Insta users would have noticed, is that unlike our earlier social media platforms like Facebook, which was limited to the network that you allowed, you would only get content from people who were in the network. TikTok kind of changed it. We started having people who would become kind of TikTok celebrities, because that content would be pushed by the algorithms to people who would like it, and that was taken up by Instagram in terms of the reels and all that, and also by Facebook in terms of the videos they show us. It's not about our friends, it is not about people whom we know, but it's what the algorithms think that will be useful. So the social media has been kind of going through this transition because of technology and because of artificial intelligence. And we are very lucky to have someone talking about Instagram here, Apratim Bhattacharya. He's a research scholar at the Center for Journalism and Mass Communication, Vishwa Bharati, leveraging Instagram for furthering queer rights movement. So Apratim, the same rules for you as well. Make it as conversational as possible. Please don't read from the slides, and just the main point that you're making here. So the floor is all yours. We have Just one more presenter after this, and then we'll have the valedictory session here. Just go to your main points and you don't have to read the slides.
Hello. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I want to begin my deliberation by thanking the chair, Dr. Bula Bhadra, and the organizers, SNU, for giving me this opportunity to be here.
Actually, I am the chair. She was the keynote
Oh,
speaker.
sorry. So I would try to say the same thing again. I would begin my deliberation by thanking the chair, Dr. USP, and the organizers for giving me the opportunity to be here and present my paper titled Instagram for Furthering Queer Rights Movement. So I have recently started my journey as a PhD candidate in CGMC Vishwabharati, as sir just mentioned. And to begin with, let me start with the brief background of the study. So since we have already talked about digital activism, we have also talked about social media and how things have changed in the past few years. So people who are trying to reach a particular community, they are trying to use related hashtags. For example, if you are trying to post something on Instagram which is related to your page, maybe you are selling earrings, maybe you are selling something on Instagram, then you will be using the relevant hashtags, and hence you are building a community around yourself. So for that, we have taken into consideration the network of the queer people or LGBTQIA community. So also to explain the thing, I can say that in past few years, the scenario for the queer people have also changed. The way people perceive them and the way the gender roles were stereotyped, that has also been reframed according to the structure of Instagram and different social media websites. Okay, to start with, I have two main objectives of the research. The first one being the role of Instagram in addressing the queer issues in India. And the objective two is how to dedicated Instagram pages can garner support from within the community. And this is, as we all know, that Instagram or any social media platform, it does not have a specific reach. Social media actually breaks all barriers and it reaches countries, it breaks all the barriers and reaches the people who are far from us. So in that case also, when we are talking about different geographical area, we are talking about somebody reading your post from outside India, maybe from America, maybe from Bangladesh, maybe from Sri Lanka. Okay, and my specific research questions are, first one, I will try to make it short. First one is the content. Second one is how these messages are crafted. Specifically, we will look at the use of hashtags. And third, does the category of content impact engagement with their content? So theoretical framework, we have basically, we have used two theories. First one being source credibility theory, and the second one is hypodermic needle theory. And as we all know, we have known about ethnography, but we have not known about netnography. So netnography is the digital version of an ethnography, or a study which is basically based on a community which is basically on any social media platform or the digital space. So we have made two comparative analyses of two Instagram pages, the first one being Gacy Family and the second one is Yes We Exist. So sampling and data, we have taken around 10 posts from both the pages, and in the first page, both the pages have actually a lot of impressions and a lot of likes. That is why that was taken into consideration. So, and the time frame was set. That is, for 2 weeks we studied this page from 14th August to 28th August. And these are the screenshots of the pages. These are the contents that were posted by the pages. And let's come to directly to the findings. So first of all, what were the content which were posted online? Does they actually empower the people? So when we look at the Gacy family, we get to see that they posted personal accounts, event promotions, film promotions, engagement posts, and other posts regarding safe sexual practices. And mostly they also used colored pictures, which actually talked about the way people interact with each other in the queer community, and there were multiple other interactive posts. When we go to the Yes We Exist page, we get to see that it is a totally fact-oriented page, okay, and it is not very in the favor of posting personal accounts, events, film promotions, or something like that. When it's not the same as Gacy family, but it is more fact-oriented. And the funny and good thing about this is that they only report about queer developmental issues from India and abroad. And this can be further divided into political queer developmental post and queer right developmental post. Now, to understand how they have actually worked and how they have used the hashtags, we used word clouds to understand the sample that has been studied. So after using word cloud, we got to see that when we studied Gacy family, it was mainly used for all the 10 posts that LGBTQ community, LGBTI sexuality, LGBT films. Whereas the second one, or the Yes We Exist page, Trans Life Matter, Transgender, LGBTQ, India, trans rights are human rights, these were basically focused. And also, to make this more clear, there was a lot more interaction on the second page, that is Yes We Exist. Okay. And coming to the the third research question, that is content and engagement. So when we get to the third question, we get to see that Gacy family had multiple other events ongoing on their page. And they actually have a follower base of maybe 50, 70,000. But the likes which are on their page, it is very limited. When it comes to the other page, they actually post only two types of things. And predominantly, it is queer developmental stories. They have garnered a lot more support than the other people. Okay, so this is the conclusion. I'm coming to the conclusion. I hope I'm finishing it within the time frame. And the study has shown actually that people from Instagram, in the queer community, they are using the Instagram to more come out from their own identities, more openly, more explicitly, and more talk about the social issues. And it was also seen that whenever the page actually posted about social issues or developmental stories, they garnered more likes and more support. And source credibility theory came into existence when we got to see that actually Yes We Exist was verifying facts. For example, it has also verified that Yogi Adityanath is creating a queer school in UP. Okay, so this is a fake news, but they have actually verified it, and more people are going to Yes We Exist instead of going to Gacy family. And we can also say that actually the Instagram profiles are garnering a lot of support internationally. The use of hashtags even are attracting people from outside. For example, here we have also seen use of relevant hashtags actually attracted people from Singapore queer community. So in that case, we have seen that. And also we can say that it's not only that the government or the private organization will all the time empower the people in the country, but it's also the connections from within the community. So this has really helped me to understand, and obviously it was a very macro study, and it requires more time to understand the nitty-gritties of the Instagram community, queer community. So that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Aprotim, for your presentation. As the earlier presentation, it was very conversational. You were not reading from the slides, and it made a lot of sense. We'll have questions after the last presentation now. and we still are running behind time. So I'll have to do away with Mahindra's presentation of Protim. We won't have it because we'll just, we don't have time for that. So artificial intelligence does not mean that robots have metallic brains and they start thinking like human beings. It's like we train the algorithm to predict on a particular focused area. So we train the particular set with a number of, for example, images of cats. So the next time it sees an image, the algorithm can identify that it's a cat. And since we're talking of technology, we will be talking of artificial intelligence as well. So we have use of artificial intelligence in mental health care apps. Is AI an ethical and effective tool for human despair? Audrita Roy, she is a research scholar from Sister Nivedita University. So please welcome Audrita Roy. So the same rules, keep it as short as possible. Please don't read from the slides and try and make it conversational. Make your point.
Hello. For someone talking about technology, I am actually technologically challenged quite. Hi, sir. Uh, um, to keep it short, I think it's a good note to start because I'm talking about mental health and I'm very anxious. So I wrote a note, but I will not use it. Hi everyone, I am Adrita. My topic is use of artificial intelligence in mental health care apps. So this is the definition that World Health Organization has gone for mental health, but I do not agree with it. That is why I put it here. I feel that mental health is health. So we do not need to segregate that, but mental health, they have defined it as the ability to cope with normal stresses of life. And we all know how we coped the last 2 years. Um, Jumping right to the mental health issues, I think all of you are aware of mental health issues that we have generally, which is sometimes feeling anxious, sometimes having some sort of emotional outburst, one parents or siblings or colleagues, sleep problems, sometimes you don't want to talk to people, sometimes you just don't feel like doing anything. Um, which brings us to the digital aspect of my paper, which is digital is the new mainstream. So till now, if you had mental health issues, you would traditionally go to a therapist or some spiritual guru, but we'll just like bypass that. Therapists and but digital, especially the last 2 years, there was a lot of, I would say, talk of mental health issues regarding a death of a very famous star of our country. And this is where the digital mental health tools came into the picture, where you have Headspace, Calm, BetterHelp, and numerous other apps. Now we come to the artificial intelligence of it all, how it connects to mental health apps. So this is the picture of this app called Wobot. Wobot is an app that mimics a therapist. So if you download an app called Wobot, every morning it's going to ask you, hi, how are you? What was your day like? What do you want to do? And it just tracks your mood throughout the day. You can have a setting where you can say, okay, ask me 3 times how I'm doing. So this is how it mimics a friend or a therapist. This is the boring thing that I did, you don't need to know about. Um, so we'll just directly jump to findings, right? So, so when an app like Wobot and many other apps mimic a therapist. My intention for this paper was just to try and analyze that at which point do we, are we able to differentiate between a human and technology? And at what point does technology is not the correct tool for human despair? So I did a survey of about 140 people, and I asked them a couple of questions. These are the results. I'm just going to brush over them. The main thing, stigma. So if you have like a stomach ache, and it's just there for like or something like that, so you would be told that, okay, go see a doctor. But if you have a mental health issue, if you have anxiety for 10 days, no one's going to tell you that go see a therapist. They're probably going to tell you that get over it. Don't worry about it. It's nothing. Go outside. Whatever. All that helps. But taking help also helps. So I asked about stigma, and 85% people told me that there is visible stigma against mental health care. And also, 74% agreed that if there's an app for mental health support, they're going to use it because, nobody will know about it. Sorry. Yeah. There's a thing called digital well-being tools in your smartphone, which sets to bedtime, and there are app timers. And so I asked people that what do they think about it, and 19% weren't even aware that there are digital well-being tools, and almost none, almost like 50. Sorry, I don't know. I made a mistake in this pie chart. I will rectify that. But as it stands, that most people do not or have not heard about digital well-being apps. We'll jump right to, I think these are things that I don't want to waste people's time. So I will just jump right to the main topic. Why I did this is because I felt that when you're talking to a robot or a mental health care app, and you say that, okay, I do not feel good and I want to die, what or how does a robot help? Or like how is an artificial intelligence going to help you? And I asked people that, and 57% said that it depends on the application, which brings me to the conclusion that AI, like Sir said, that they are not robots. So AI is basically trained to mimic, machine learning specifically, is trained to mimic what our brain does. But at the I mean, what I could conclude from it was that it is still not emotionally intelligent enough to handle human despair. And limitation of the study is it is done in a very small scale in a very little time. So my scope is that I would want to, I would want to do more, and hopefully through my research I would be able to. Thank you.
Thank you. I was just going to say, let there be light. Thank you. Can we have Shumedha and Apratim here? So starting from the last benches, any questions for these three wonderful presentations? Yeah, please go ahead. You have a question, right? Somebody was raising your hand. Can you please pass on the mic, Shantika, to her or someone? There's a mic there. So we still have time for a couple of questions. So Identify yourself first, and then whom are you asking that? You need to switch it on. If it doesn't work, you can take this. Take this, take this.
Hello, hello. Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah.
So first my question is that,
Identify yourself.
okay, I'm Radhika from UG1. So my question is, what do you mean when you said censorship? Okay. Firstly,
Who is this question for?
who's this question for? I don't remember exactly. Just the word is what I want to know right now, like the first question.
No, is this a question for any of these presentations?
Yeah, they had, like, I think ma'am had the word censorship. So that's why I'm asking to her.
Shumedha, yeah.
I meant like actually, my content analysis included language also, the language
Yes.
and the words used by the characters, like censorship as in the slang words, the abusive ones that was openly used in Broken News, the Indian series, while it was barely used, or it was not at all used in the Korean series 2521. That is what, like, that is where exactly I meant censorship.
Okay. The thing is that when we talk about the Korean industry, there
Yeah.
are a lot of restrictions from the Korean government. Okay. So, like, that is the main thing that holds Korean industry as a good industry also. And in the Bollywood industry, nowadays, though, every film before release only, there are something negative
No,
about
you
that
said
film.
film. When it comes to film, there is censorship. When it comes to series, there is no censorship.
Ma'am, but in like regarding this also, like the web series also, the films and the web series, okay, everything, whatever, if there is something planned, like there is any date releasing about a this thing web series, the first thing goes in the audience's mind is that what negative can we take out from there. But when we talk about the Korean industry itself, like it's whether it's the movies or the films, they don't have such, what's it, public that take out the negative thing. And the Korean government has also applied so much rules and regulations. Even they can't shoot uh, a lot of stuffs, because I follow Anushka Sen. Okay, she's debuting in a Korean film or maybe web series. I'm not sure about that. And when she was live, she told me that the restrictions she was given before shooting, before signing the contract, that was completely different from what we are given in India. Yeah, that she mentioned. So when we talk about that censorship and everything, because the language, like, in a way, when I say that even the toddlers now, the first thing they learn is the
Thank you,
mum's words.
Radhika. You'll make a very good researcher. You have
I
some very
am
good
not a
points.
researcher, sir.
You are in UG1, but when you cross PG2 and you are into there, you'll be a good researcher because you're already, that's what research is all about. Finding out a problem statement and trying to address that. So all your points are very well taken.
Thank
And
you,
we
sir.
understand that you are a good follower of K, content, right?
Yes, thank
Wow,
you.
wonderful. Thank you. So can we have a big round of applause for Radhika, right? We are already into the valedictory time, and any more questions for our presenters here? Yeah, please. Make it short. A question, not an observation.
Hello everyone, I'm Ankush Paul from UG1 Mass Comm department, and I had a question for sir. So specifically in India, it's a major problem with the LGBTQ people that they can't come out safely and securely. They don't feel safe to the people that they want to come out to, their friends, their family, their parents, everyone. So how do you think social media can help? Only social media as a whole can help these people come out to them and be accepted into regular society safely and securely.
So he's already spoken of creating those networks. So I guess that network is one of the ways in which you can address that. You want to add to that?
Basically, whenever we are talking about a queer network, it's very important to understand that it's a network of common interest. Okay. And like we normal people, when we love somebody, when we talk to somebody, when we seek support from our friends, right? It's not that we seek support from somebody who is not our friend. So Instagram, be it Facebook, be it any other platform, it is seeking support from your own friends and family. Okay, and if family does not accept, that is different. Then you can take help of any NGOs which will actually help you to understand what is wrong, why is your family not taking you as a normal child. Okay, and there are multiple NGOs, you can search for it on Instagram, Facebook, any other platforms, which actually help queer people to find their own identities, okay, through different activities. So it's just a talk of supporting each other through a mutual understanding and love.
Thank you, sir.
Just a few observations for all presentations, not just in this session, but in the earlier one as well where I was present. So 3 or 4 very quick points. You can take this as an advice, a suggestion or whatever. First of all, get your research problem statements very clear. It shouldn't be, too broad, or it shouldn't be irrelevant, or it shouldn't be things that we already know about. So a lot of those things are very important. So whether those questions are relevant, whether they are operationalizable and not. So that's one point. Secondly, be very, very rigorous with the methods, because a lot of the words we just throw around and we don't, if we don't follow the structure of those methods. For example, if we talk of digital ethnography, we'll have to take it to that qualitative level, because it is about, either being a participant observer. And when I talk of qualitative methods, it's more about words and thick descriptions and your interpretations, because it's a different paradigm altogether. Then it's not about numbers. When we use statistics at this research scholar level, descriptive statistics is not enough. Full stop. These many people, these many percentages, that's not enough. Statistics has to go to the inferential level. If it does not go, it will not be regarded as good research. So that's a very important point. Thirdly, the conceptual frameworks. We just can't be throwing around, theories from the 1950s and 60s and saying that, my theoretical framework is this. Have that conceptual framework very clearly spelled out. And that's when your research will become citable. And one of the major problems with our research community in our field is that most of our research is not cited by our own people. Our own friends do not cite our own papers, and that's where, we have to take it to that level. So get the conceptual framework, and these are the basics, and we can, of course, all the topics were brilliant, wonderful, and it set us thinking about a lot of these things. But just make it worthy of being, published in one of those international journals, and all of you have the right inputs for that. So thank you again for this wonderful session. Thank you, Orinanda. Thank you, Shoikota. Thank you, Minal. Thank you, Joydeep. Thank you, everyone at SNU. Thank you, brilliant students. Can we have a big round of applause for yourself, please? Thank you very much. So that ends the technical session.
Thank you, Uma. Participants, if you can please take your seat. We'll begin the valedictory session, say, in another 5-7 minutes. We are just getting things in order. Kindly bear with us. The participants who are here, please stay. Can you just inform Monique Kinkini, Shudesha, and Oindrila to please come and collect their certificates. We'll just take a quick break and we'll join in 5-7 minutes.
Students, good afternoon, everyone. Students, please be seated. Go to your respective seats. Keep your mobile phones on silent. Kindly put your mobile phones on silent. All the students are requested to take their seats immediately.
শুভ অপরাহ্ন, নমস্কার সবাইকে, সম্মানিত সকল অতিথি ও ছাত্রছাত্রীদের আরও একবার আমাদের ন্যাশনাল মিডিয়া কনক্লেভে স্বাগত। সিস্টার নিবেদিতা ইউনিভার্সিটির গণজ্ঞাপন ও সাংবাদিকতা বিভাগ আয়োজিত দুদিনের এই মিডিয়া কনক্লেভের আজ পরিসমাপ্তি বা শেষ সমাপ্তি অনুষ্ঠানে আমরা চলে এসেছি। আমাদের কনক্লেভের বিষয় ছিল ডিজিটাল ইজ দ্য নিউ মেন স্ট্রিম।
Welcome, everyone. It has been intensive 2 days with many productive, fruitful, and engaging sessions.
At this juncture, to deliver the opening remarks, we are pleased to have Mr. Snehashish Shur sir with us, an eminent journalist. Snehashish Shur is currently the president of Press Club Kolkata. He has been the recipient of multiple awards in the field of journalism. He has been teaching for decades in prestigious institutions all over the country. He has also authored many books and published multiple papers. It's my privilege to call Sir on the stage to address the students. Please, sir.
I would request BDG sir, our very own BDG sir, to kindly felicitate Snehashish Sur sir before he address the students.
Good afternoon. Respected Professor Dr. Buroshiv Dasgupta and my dear Minal Shoikot, and the toughest job is to utter and pronounce Orindam, the name of the person whom we refer to as something else, which I do not want to. Shujoy, my good friends and my dear students, distinguished guests and professors. At the outset, I must thank the SNU Mass Communication Department for organizing such a conclave. This is very, very important. I have appreciated on record the SNU Masscom Department's role in live telecast of Kolkata Book Fair and other places. So I understand that the students are technically capable under the guidance of the faculty members. Mass communication is a subject like medicine or engineering where applied role or applied capability is very, very important. Industry. So that you have the skill, you have the knowledge to work in the industry. This is important. But at the same time, the enhancement of knowledge, not only within the four walls of the classroom, but having different people from different places, having a discourse being presented to the students who are either journalists or media educators in future is equally important. I want to thank all these people and the team and the student especially for having such thing. This is very important. Both are equally important. One is skill, another is knowledge. Thirdly, for having chosen a subject like digital is mainstream. Now, this is the first word which has started from the inauguration and is going to be the last word in the valedictory session too. Because the answer is given in the proposition. And I believe had there been a formal debate, nobody could have come to oppose this motion, the proposition, that digital is the mainstream. I must thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity to share my thoughts. I don't know how much professionally skilled I am or knowledgeable I am as far as journalism is concerned, but definitely not a specialist on digital communication. But yes, being a journalist or being involved in media education, we have understood one thing, that without digital, we will not be able to survive. This is the mantra, this is the present, this is the future. This is our vehicle, this is our platform. If I need to survive, I have to be in it in various capacities. My dear students, you will engage in greater capacities in digital platforms. I will engage in a lesser capacity because of my age, my acumen, my adaptability and all these. But at least I have understood that I will not be able to survive without digital. So being digitally empowered is very, very important. There will be repetitions because, all these sessions and papers must have had all these being discussed. So the little amount of time has been given to me. I'll try to use saying certain things. You see, when you have joined this course, you had a dream. All of us, especially the young, must have a dream. Otherwise, we will not survive, we will not go ahead. But might have been to become a television anchor or a newspaper reporter or an RJ, radio jockey. Yes, I appreciate your goal, and the target has to be at a higher set at a higher level, so that at least you can reach out to some. If your target is at a lower level, you actually do not reach anywhere. So you must have a high target, and I appreciate that you have set these targets for you. But my dear friends, you have to understand the situation of the industry and which is the sunrise sector, where there will be jobs, and you need to prepare yourselves for that. So keep digital as your plan B. You may not be tech savvy. You may not be a content creator comfortably in digital platform, but you can't help it. You can't help it. So if you actually have to go ahead, this is the only window left to you. All other windows are not actually available. All are closed, almost closed. Not only the windows, the doors. And especially after the COVID. If you go through the situation of the Indian media industry, and if you see the growth path, I believe you are familiar with the FICI statistics, which is done by EY, the erstwhile Ernst & Young. Every year they come out with the statistics. Now the average media sector growth rate is around 13%, which is much above than our national GDP growth rate. So media and entertainment sector is a growing sector. But if you look at the subsectoral growth, the digital media is growing at a 21%. At a 21% growth rate. CAGR, cumulative average growth rate. Whereas the print is at 3, television is at 5, radio is at 9%. And 21 is digital. So you know where there will be vacancies. Number one. Number two, COVID has made a lot of changes in the media usages. consumption of media, all had to depend on digital. So, lot of change. People have stopped getting the physical newspapers. People have stopped so many other entertainment sectors, so-called entertainment sectors, because there was nothing new content coming in the entertainment sector because it was locked down. The news was continuing, but physical newspapers, people did not subscribe, did not allow them to be delivered. Some people. So there was a major change in the consumption habit during the COVID. They changed. So the digital had gone up. The content reception the online transaction has gone up 51% in India. The statistics of, the Internet Mobile Association of India. The online transaction has gone up 51% during the COVID period. Nobody were so much familiar with all these apps and ordering foods, groceries, all the major requirements, and they used to be delivered at your doorstep. So all transactions, payments, subscriptions, utility bills, anything you wanted, remissions, all remittances, all you did through online. So there was 51% increase. Now think of the entertainment sector. People largely went to OTTs. There are a lot of people have gone to OTTs. You can vouch that there may be 2 TV sets in your family. One having a DTH, another having a cable. But either you hardly watch them, or the DTH subscription is overdue. Cable subscription, you have just kept it, but you generally do not know the number of the channel you actually watch. In the bed, the family viewing and the fight of news channel, entertainment, serials, sports among the family members. I do not want to separate as genders, age or something. Who wants to watch what? But there used to be a fight in the drawing room and the time sharing. And there used to be a prime time, my dear friends. The concept of prime time in television has gone. You are not there at 7 o'clock, doesn't matter. The content is available. You see it. The most favorite content, you see it whenever you are free. It's you to decide when to see. Earlier, it used to be a prime time, 7 to 9, 7 to 10. So you don't reach by 7, you miss it. But now you don't. So the consumption pattern has changed and consumption platform has changed. Now, husband, wife in the same bed at the end of the day, 2 mobiles watching 2 different contents of 2 different genres, but both are in OTT platform. One with a earpiece and one maybe in the mobile. Now, who uses the earpiece depends on other factors I do not want to discuss. But this has become a reality. This has become a reality, cutting across the age group. So the carriage in television, the concept of carriage, as you all know as media students, there are 2 things, content and carriage. The carriage is having a great problem. I believe you are aware of the emergence of the latest Bangla television. It has come from a very prominent media house in India. They have newly entered into the Bengali market, a Bengali genre. But where? Digital platform. You won't have it in TV. I'm talking about India Today Bangla. You don't have it in TV channel. It's not a TV channel, my dear friends. It is in you subscribe and you watch it in digital platforms. So don't you think that India Today group cannot, if they want to come up with a new channel, they will not be able to. They must have thought that their presence in Bengal is very important, but not as a traditional television channel. They will give audiovisual content definitely, but in a different platform. So, This is the change. I don't know how far you are aware of the carriage fee, which there is no economy of the carriage fee. This is all under the table. There is nothing legal as carriage fee. Your channel is placed in the prime channel because of the fact that you give some out-of-pocket money to that channel provider. And it's a huge, and the economy doesn't take place. And what I said, the subscribers will watch. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the traditional concept of circulation revenue, that is subscription revenue and advertising revenue. We all were told that for the newspaper, it is 65% ad revenue and 35% circulation revenue. The price of the paper, which only covers the ink and the newsprint, nothing else, no overhead. Now, in this case, the subscription revenue is becoming a great source of revenue. The entire revenue model has changed. Because people have to subscribe. They don't mind subscribing something. 2, 3, 4 OTTs of international, national, local, they're subscribing and they're watching all sorts of entertainment, including news and current affairs. So there is a huge subscription amount which was not there. You remember the pre-CAS and pre-DAS area, conditional access system and digital addressable system through set-top box, STBs. The cable connections used to go, everybody used to tamper and then punch and then get another 1 TV to 2 TV to 3 TV by paying only for one connection. The entire industry didn't have a record of how many television sets are being viewed. Now, everything is in order. You get to know that how many television sets are being viewed now, currently. Because you have to have an active STB to watch the channel, either DTH or cable, even the ground channels. So now, once the CAS and DAS had come, the industry was organized, which was not an organized sector. Nobody knew. There was an assumption of how many TV households were there. Now everything was reckoned, measured. So that is the reason that from there the subscription revenue concept came in. And in the digital, all these platforms had a subscription revenue. So that is why it is more organized, more meaningful, more economic. And the paradigm shift in the carriage. Now all newspapers had gone to digital. Their newsletters or web or online editions. It has started many years back in the West, but now it is happening here also. So the shift, paradigm shift is there in the carriage, in the delivery, in the last mile, and all is digital. And COVID has changed and multiplied, it had played a multiplier role in transforming this to digital world. Another digital world, if we have to talk about, we have to talk about content generation also. We were talking about the delivery, the OTT, the digital newspaper, the digital radio, in-house radio. You have a digital radio system. Everything is digital. The carriage has changed. Now the content is changed. One of the most important television channel uses mobile journalism, Mojo. Again, digitization has democratized the world. You are a content creator. You won't have to hire a huge unit to create an audiovisual content. You can have it here immediately. You yourself, you can shoot. Once you have this with you, you can shoot, you can edit, you can send, everything you can do with it. You can edit also. You know much better than me. You do it. And you have the captions making softwares like Canova, programs and all Canova. And then you do it, everything, KineMaster, and you edit and you shoot and you send it also through internet. So everything is Mojo. It is done and it is broadcast quality. No big vans, no big multiple cameras, no huge galaxy of people, no nothing. So this has come here. But at the same time, since you are concerned with digital, let me also touch upon one area that Government of India is under a thought of having digital media guidelines. This is kind of a content code. This is kind of a guideline. This has been gazetted. The rules have been framed also. So you can find out, I do not want to go into details. This is kind of a guideline, means some legalities, some do's and don'ts like IT Act. So this is intermediary digital guidelines, which is very important, which has got an inbuilt content code. See, internet user in India is 47%. So almost half of the population, and it will rise to 90 crore people in 2025. This is all data from Internet and Mobile Association of India. So 90 crore will be in 2025, and now it is 70 crore. So obviously, you know where it is going on. You have seen people who are illiterate are consuming through mobile phones. They're using, they're sending, they're calling. They can't read those names. But this is happening. Somehow or other, they're doing it. And India is a vast country, so the number is increasing leaps and bounds. If you are really interested in digital, I think it has been referred to you in your classroom. There is a digital news report which comes annually by the Reuters Institute in the Oxford University. The report deals with all the nuances of the digital media, and it has got a country-wise system. And it shows, the latest one shows that there is a hype, there's an increase in number of podcasts and newsletters. You can go through it. I need not discuss it, which is available to you in the net. But definitely digital has brought in an information overload. That is something very important. And my dear friends, you must be very, very cautious in selecting the source, the website, the digital source. Thanks to WhatsApp University, that's a lot of things are coming to you, purposefully or by mistake. Now, one needs to be cautious about what he or she is disseminating to others. Not as a traditional journalist, even as a citizen journalist. Any citizen is empowered now to disseminate to a large number of audience through the social media platforms, vehicles. So it is the responsibility of a citizen, like every citizen has a responsibility towards the country. Now, this digital responsibility is very, very important for a citizen. You should not disseminate false information, incorrect information, and information not verified. Content verification is very, very important, and facts checking. We never say fake news because we believe that if it is fake, it cannot be news, because news is based on objective facts and figures, on material facts and figures. So it is the content verification and facts checking is a must. Earlier, when your dean sir joined the profession, maybe 45 years back, the credit was how much he could take note like a shorthand stenographer from the opening salutation to the end. And we also tried to do that. All of us had some capacity of, some style of taking notes. But now, why should you take notes? It's available in the FB Live and everywhere, and then you can also record that speech. So that skill is not required. But what is required is facts checking and content verification skills. Firstly, you must have a news nose and understanding whether this could be correct or incorrect. Immediately you have to guess. You have to understand. This is your experience. This is your schooling. As your experience goes, you will understand, no, there is some problem here. I'll need to cross-check and verify. And you should be acquainted with some skills like reverse image check and something like that. So before you disseminate anything, you should check. And social media has a problem of misinformation and right sources, because misinformation, you see, if you are doing it purposefully, I do not want to discuss on that. It will take time. But by mistake means you are not getting it from right sources. You are not verifying the content. You are not checking the facts. This is not allowed. Even if you are a citizen, you are not a formal journalist. You are disseminating to many means you have a responsibility, social responsibility. And there is always a problem of trolling. One needs to understand for social media presence. If you may not be present here, but you are trolled, even you don't know and don't have access. Now, friends, as I said, the digitization has given you democracy, digitization has made democratization also. There's something called community media. Early this week, I went to see personally, because when I talk here, I must be based on some material information and reality. I went to Baharampur district just to see how does a community media function. It has got 5 windows. Number 1, Facebook presence. Number 2, YouTube presence. Number 3, social media, the presence in website. And number 4 was ground channel. They were giving content to a ground channel. And you won't believe the number 5th was an app. It was a Mushidabad-based community media. Some journalists have made it under the leadership of a slightly senior journalist who again happened to be a student of mine. He invited me and I went deliberately to see this. How does it function? From a small room. Yes, it has got a studio. So all the contents are generated to these 5 platforms, 5 windows. And there is a monetization. There is monetization from those channels, platforms, vehicles. And the local people see that they are viewed in large numbers, in lakhs, and they are putting advertisement. Because the advertisement is viewed. It's reaching. It's meaningful. So that is why through digital, the community media is becoming popular. And you know, it doesn't come as a bulletin. Community media, the advantage is it comes as a story. In the print, it comes in the form of a newspaper. In the television, it comes, or the radio, it comes as a bulletin. Half an hour bulletin, 10-minute bulletin, 15-minute bulletin, 20-minute bulletin. No. Here in this platform, each story, an intro by an anchor and then the story, 2.5 minutes. Lakhs of people are watching. You want to see this, you're watching this. They want to see something else, they watch it. Something or the other. So these are the new trends and this is happening. And obviously when we talk about the future, the mobile video, virtual reality, augmented reality, data analysis, all these things are there. You have to utilize the digital platform. And there is this concept of startup. Ideally, it is said that why do you seek a job? You create a job for you and for others. And this is a reality. You can go to any of the coffee shops in the city, you will find 1 or 2 persons they're doing the client meeting there. One is with a laptop, another maybe with a laptop, may not be a laptop. In a coffee shop. It's very common in this area also. So you can do that. There are a lot of things like, buying the platform, virtual platform for virtual meetings, recording them because it's paid subscription, inviting virtual meeting people, sending their emails, SMSs, and then reminding them on the day of the program and having presentations, facilitating the presentations, recording the presentations and giving the certificates. These are the new jobs. And then editing and creating all these audiovisual digitally. I think I have taken a little more time. I should not, I'm sorry. You are tired of, digitally tired. But please, the last word is, yes, digital is mainstream. It is the main thing. We all know we need to go ahead, step into the digital world, which is virtual to a great extent. But in real world also, we should not ignore. We cannot be totally virtual, totally digital. We are human beings. To make a successful use and utilization of digital platforms, one has to understand the realities. the real world. But digital is the mainstream. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you so much, sir. I would request you to just stay back on the stage. Thank you so much for such an insightful and enlightening talk. Now I would request Professor Dr. Buroshiv Dashgupta, Director Media Studies, and Dr. Meenal Parekh, HOD and Conclave Convener on the stage to give away the certificates to the paper presenters.
Adrita Roy, I would request sir to give us it. Oindrila Mukherjee, request Myachi sir. Monikinkini Basu, on behalf of Monikinkini, Shudesha is taking it. Joydeep Mukherjee, Shudesha Das, Shayantika Dotto, Aprotim Bhattacharya, Aprotim will take the certificate of Mohendra Kumar Jaina and Lokesh Chakma. সত্যজিৎ সামন্ত, প্রদীপ্ত কুমার ঘোষ, সুমেধা চৌধুরী, and our very own Atushi Bhattacharya. As we bring our National Media Conclave to a close, We once again thank you all for gracing the occasion with your presence and hope that the discussion here have given you a much clearer understanding of the theme digital as the new mainstream.
I would like to admit my thoughts. A good event never ends. It takes only a pause and keep us awaiting for the next. With this hope, we all at SNU await for the next National Media Conclave with a new theme and greater participation. Till then, before we head back to our homes, I would request all the faculties, students, speakers to come on the stage for a group photograph.